right.
What's up? Welcome
Say
to
it.
the Ordinary Effort, where a bunch of random fans get some random baseball players and try not to fit the grid. I'm Mike here with my buddy Josh. Baseball
There it
is
is.
upon us.
Baseball is back. That's what I was waiting for. I'm so pumped. I woke up today and I was like, man, I looked at the schedule. My wife was like, when do the Yankees play tomorrow? I went into I don't know if anybody from work is watching. I blocked off my work calendar. I was like, I'm not taking a meeting during this Yankee game. I'll be at my desk, but I'm watching the Yankee game. I'm ready for baseball.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because like in the off season, there's you have that first period where you're waiting for the first domino in free agency to fall, and that was
yeah.
like Soto. And then there was like a flurry of moves, and there was that lull, and it's crazy that we're now like at the point where real baseball. I mean, yeah, you had like the Tokyo series last week, but like
Yeah.
the whole league is playing now tomorrow.
Can I just say, I don't want to get us on a tangent. I think the Tokyo series, I get it's really great for the game. I think it's bizarre that they go and play a couple games while everyone else is in spring training. And
Yeah,
then you come back and then there's like the Red Sox played an exhibition game in Mexico, but that was exhibition. And the
yeah,
Dodgers and Cubs have already played two games. Like it's just bizarre to me.
yeah. I mean, I understand whatever Manfred growing the game
Yes, yeah.
internationally and all that, but it does seem like the timing of it. And I understand they have
Just
to account
odd.
for travel and all that, but like
Yeah.
10 days before the season, like first of all, I'd be upset if I were a
Yeah.
franchise. Your players have less time to prepare.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
less reps and you're
Yeah.
playing games that actually count. So
Yeah.
there's that. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it in theory, but I think
Yeah.
the execution of it could be tweaked a little bit in terms of like timing and all that to make it, I don't know,
Yeah.
a little weird.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, tomorrow's baseball. Mike and I were like, we gotta go live. We gotta go play a grid, talk baseball. So this is casual. The plan is basically if you're listening later, maybe tonight or tomorrow, we've got this grid. It's got Astros, Giants, Yankees, and then Padres, Cardinals, and 30 save season. The plan is we're going to try our best to fill this out with current players only. And interspersed with that, I think Mike and I will just talk our predictions, talk our thoughts on the off season, the baseball season coming up, maybe like teams that did super well in the off season, maybe even some players who we think will like hit certain thresholds that appear on the grid.
Yeah.
So if you're a dead ball fan, I mean, I'm apologizing. Like with all due respect to Lav Cross, Quincy Troop, the guys we've like come to love in our Discord, we're going current players only tonight. So
Yeah. Yeah, this is and obviously like it would be we're at a position right now where we can't play like Goldschmidt here in this Yankees Cardinals box because he hasn't played a game that counts yet for the Yankees. But we'll talk a little bit about Goldschmidt, and maybe
yeah,
that's a good place to start. Is like,
yeah.
Josh, how do you feel about the moves that your Yankees made this offseason?
Oh man.
The size says
Um
everything.
I I feel conflicted, right? Because how do you replace Juan Soto? Like you can't. I mean, he's in a lot of ways one of one. I am trying to embrace the idea that we go out and we do spend a lot more than most teams, but I'm frustrated. Like I'm frustrated that we didn't get like one more bat. I'm frustrated that we're starting the year with like probably Oswaldo Cabrera playing third base when I just felt like there were other options out there. There's a lot of faith being put in guys who I think are fairly past their prime. I'm not disappointed about the Goldschmidt signing for the money that he went for. And I
Right.
think there's a world in which he hits really well against lefties. He hits really well in Yankee Stadium. And for the most part, he has stayed really healthy his career. I just feel like, and I don't want to jump ahead, but I think the Red Sox leaped way ahead of the Yankees this offseason. There's not a
Yeah.
team in there. The Red Sox are likely, to me, the team you should be most excited about in the AL. That's I mean, so yeah, that's my thought off the bat, but
Yeah, I agree. I kind of did a little bit of a deep dive, a shallow dive, but deep enough that I kind of came up with like the main like players lost, players added in the offseason for the teams here. And the
yeah,
Red Sox, I have them as one of the top winners. I think the Dodgers are on a different in a different stratosphere entirely. I don't
yeah,
even want to talk about them necessarily, but like the Red Sox, they added Crochet, they
yep,
added Bregman. Those are two
yep,
huge signings. I think it's interesting that they signed Bregman to play third when Devers is already there. I know they're talking about moving Devers and
yeah,
DHing him, and then there was the whole thing where he doesn't want to DH, and they have Cassis at first. But uh, the Reds, who did they lose? They lost Kenley Jansen,
yep.
but they brought in Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah,
I'm not
but they're
confident in
getting
Chapman's
back Liam Hendricks. I don't know what that looks like, but he's
right.
coming back from injury.
They signed a couple guys like that. They signed Michael Fulmer
Yeah,
last year, I think,
yeah,
and Lucas
they did.
Giolito is coming back too. So like they have guys on these 2-year,
Yeah,
first year these guys are out all season with injuries. Then they're hopefully getting them back this year. They brought in Chapman. I don't think he's going to last the entire season as the set
yeah,
closer there, but that's one. And then I like the Bueller adding the
I do
Bueller
too.
addition. I think
Yeah,
obviously like health is a concern for him, but if he's anything like the Walker Bueller that we've seen in the past, I think that'll be a really sneaky good addition for them.
yeah.
Um,
It's also like they've got Crochet, which I understand comes with some level of question mark with his innings
yeah,
and all of that comes with it, but also all pitchers come with some level of question mark with health right now.
yeah,
But you don't need Lucas Giolito to even be like a top 3 starter, but his upside is that he could be that. There's no reason he couldn't come back and be a really great 4 starter for them. I think Tanner Hoke is really strong. Like I
yeah,
think they are built in a way to figure out a postseason series with their pitching. If they manage to get into the postseason, which I know is tough in that division, but they have got just as good chance as anybody, really. I think the Orioles and Blue Jays had a pretty poor off season, to be honest. They are set up with a like maybe one of the best farm systems in baseball. They've got really good pitching. And yeah, and you brought in Alex Bregman, who's like, I was listening to Chris Rose talking. He's probably gonna hit like 50 doubles in Fenway Park. Like, I mean, it's just like that's not out of the realm of possibilities with that wall. Like, I
yeah,
mean, he's just it's the Red Sox are scary. I mean, they're not on this grid, so maybe we
yeah.
should throw a box on,
Right, yeah.
but
So, I mean, we started this by
he,
talking about Yankees, Cardinals. We
yeah,
can't play
yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt yet, but we can play. Well, Luke Voigt's not. Is Luke Voigt still in the league?
He's not
Uh,
currently current. Yeah, Yankees, Cardinals, current players.
Harrison Bader works here.
Harrison Bader. Is Matt Carpenter still active? I mean, he's gonna be really high on this grid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he'd work for the Padres there too.
He'd work for the Padres
I
too.
don't know if he's signed with anybody. And I guess we could technically like David Robertson hasn't retired. He's a free agent. Nobody's signed him, but I consider him.
Yeah,
I know he's still intending to play, so I feel like I would count him. I don't know about Carpenter. I do know Harrison Bader signed, I think, with the Twins.
yeah. You've got Sonny Gray as well, but I think that'll be fairly high. Lance Lynn also works here.
Yeah,
Well, I guess he may sign with the team, but he is not retired.
right.
So yeah, I mean, there's some options here.
Giovanni Gallegos. I
He played
think
for the
I don't know where
Yankees.
he signed, but I think I saw it as I was looking through the transactions. I think he did sign with a team. I'm not sure if it was a major league deal or a minor league deal, but
Yeah.
I
Did he
think
play for the Yankees, Gallegos, or
I was thinking that's a good question. Actually, I know he.
I mean, it could have. I don't recall it right away.
Mm, and maybe
I
we stay away
think
from him.
out of the guys, I mean, because we're doing current players only, none of these guys I've listed, I think, are 0.02% guys. Out of the list, I would think Lance Lynn will be fairly low.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he
Bader
only played
recently played with the Yankees.
for a short period of time too.
Yeah.
Like right, it was because they traded
Uh,
for him in season, and he finished the year with the Yankees, but then he became a free agent. I think after they acquired him. So
Matt Holliday. Oh, he's not. He's not.
He's
His
not
son
he's
is
not
current.
current, but yeah,
His son is
one of those,
current. That would be a little
father
bit
is
of
a
like a
current
bridge.
player.
And
We
I'm
could
so used to trying to not put current players on the grid that my brain is like going back. I think Lance Lynn would be. I mean, he might be like 2 or 3% maybe, as I'm guessing.
My only thought about Lynn is that he was with the Cardinals for a very long time,
Yeah, it's
and he
fair.
was pretty
Yeah.
good there. I mean, he had injuries and stuff, but he was I think when I think of Lance Lynn, I think of him as a Cardinal first. That's not to
I
say, like,
mean, Jordan Montgomery is the other
Montgomery,
one. He was
yep,
in the Bader trade, obviously, like historically. I mean,
yeah,
really, unfortunately.
yeah, I'm between Lynn. Lynn is a possibility. I feel like Bader I have to put as a possibility there for,
Yeah,
like, I mean, obviously we're not gonna get a ghost grid. We're not gonna get
we're not
0.
going to get a low grid here. Yeah.
But,
I personally think Bader will be a little higher because I think that trade is in Yankees fans' mind because everyone
that's
was mad
fair.
at Cashman for giving away Montgomery. Um,
Alright, so let's do Lance
oh,
Lynn.
Mike is saying Ottavino. That's a good one. I
Oh,
forgot he
that is
played for
really good
St.
one.
Louis.
Yeah,
So I would
he's
say
started.
scratch everything.
Yeah,
I think Ottavino is the call here, actually.
yeah.
Lance Lynn is yeah, he was there for a while. Matt, we talked extensively about Juan Berenguer selling Fords. Go check that out. Yeah, I think Ottavino, Yankees, Cardinals.
Yeah, let's do it. Adam Ottavino,
Yeah, okay.
0.2% hidden gem in the Mets hat.
Yeah, nice, Mike. Good
Fantastic.
shout. All right. Where do you want to go next, Mike?
I mean, I guess the kind of obvious, not obvious segue, but I can make the connection between the Mets hat, the Yankees column, the Padres column. The Mets just
Yeah,
signed Juan Soto.
yeah,
I'm not gonna go out and say that the Mets were the biggest winners of the offseason. And from the standpoint of the biggest signing, the Mets won the offseason. And they brought back Pete Alonso. I'm not counting that because it's not a change in their roster from last year. They brought back Sean Manaea. They brought in Montas to replace Severino, but Montas is hurt now. They brought in Clay Holmes, who seems like he might be a
had a good
legitimate
spring.
starting
Yeah,
pitcher. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, he's another one of those guys where, like with Crochet, we don't know how many innings he's going to be able to throw. He's transitioning from reliever to starter. Um, there's potential there. I'm a little concerned with health for the Mets. They did lose. I mean, not that McNeil is, but if he were from a few years ago batting title Jeff McNeil, I think the
yeah,
loss of McNeil would have been a little bit more impactful. But and it doesn't sound like he's going to be out terribly long. The only reason I don't put the Mets higher up in terms of like winners of the offseason is I really wanted them to get a frontline starter, whether it
yeah.
was
They
trading
really,
for
yeah,
Luis Castillo. When we had Ryan Finkelstein on a couple months ago, he was talking about potential trades. He mentioned Pablo Lopez because the Twins are trying to offload, or John Gray, and
yeah,
they didn't add anybody like that via trade. They didn't sign anybody, and I don't think Stearns, from what I understand, I don't think Stearns is the type of guy that's going to sign a long term high high dollar value deal for any starting
yeah.
pitcher.
It's interesting because like they obviously everyone knows that Steve Cohen is will spend at really no there's no level of spending he's not comfortable with, I guess is the best way to put it. And
Yeah,
it's a little surprising, like because they obviously their strength is to develop pitching in their lab, right? Like they're really they so
yeah,
a lot of the players they brought in, it makes you sort of like say like, all right, well maybe they'll get the best out of them. I just feel like with their level, and you know more than me as a Mets fan, but I just feel like with their lack of fear to spend, it was surprising they didn't like get those guys that might pan into something in their lab and get a more like, proven starting pitcher to like head the rotation. That was surprising me. I don't know if it's because they will do that at the trade deadline if need be. Like maybe they're like they know they can. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, they have pieces in the farm system they can move. They have a lot of infield depth down there with some pretty highly regarded prospects. I hope they do something in season. I mean, I think we saw in the playoffs last year, like they just kind of they walked a ton of guys in that
Yeah.
Dodgers series, and I'd like
Yeah.
to see a guy come in who's not just a frontline starter, but like somebody who's also going to keep like this is. I don't want to disparage Blake Snell, but like we get good Blake Snell, and then sometimes we get bad Blake Snell who walks
Yeah.
100 guys in a season. So like I want a guy that's going to be more efficient in terms of not walking, a ton
Yeah.
of batters and keeping the base paths pretty clear. That being said, I do think that the Mets have a shot to get back to the playoffs. Definitely, I would say to advance around at least maybe the
Yeah.
NLCS. Do we make a World Series? I'm not gonna. I know better than to say that I think the Mets are gonna make a World Series.
Yeah.
Even if I think that, I'm not gonna say it.
I mean, Sandy Alcantara still exists, and the Marlins are. We were picking a couple grids to do here, and we were like, I don't want to play a grid with the Marlins if we're talking current players because there's not a lot of people who excite me other than Sandy and like Xavier Edwards. But
No,
Sandy exists, and it feels like an inevitability that they will trade him. And like, who better to make the move than the Mets? Like, they've got the pieces to do it. Like, if he's
no,
healthy, and the Mets don't need him to pitch late into every game because they're in a better position in their division, like Sandy at the top of the rotation is pretty nice. Like,
Sandy definitely exists. Um, hey, while we're not to like divert us, but while we're looking at the grid back here, we're talking about the Mets, we're talking about the Yankees, we're talking about the Marlins. David Robertson fits
he
for
does.
all those teams, and I believe he had a couple 30 save seasons with the Yankees. Do we want to
Yeah,
throw Robert? We can continue on with this
we
trend
can
of
continue to
conversation. You
talk
want to throw
about it,
David
but I can't.
Robertson?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Albertson pointed out that trying to do current players and 30 save seasons is going to be a little tricky. But I think David Robertson works here.
Right.
But did he get it with the Yankees?
I think he
Because
did.
this,
I think he did it with the White Sox, and I think he did it with the Yankees. I feel like he was the guy who took over right after Mariano, right?
yeah, you're probably right. I should know this.
Now I'm nervous. Now you,
Well, I trust you, but
I don't.
yeah, Mike said, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, David Robertson,
Yeah.
5%. All right.
Okay, nice. Yeah, yeah. All right. Perfect.
So
Why is he not signed by a team? That's weird. I mean, he's
I
still
don't
like a
know.
serviceable reliever who looked pretty good last year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like you can have too many good relief pitchers, and there are teams that are definitely, I wouldn't say stacked in their bullpens. Like even the Mets could bring him back. Like I would love for them to bring him back. I thought
Yeah.
he was really effective. He's 40, but like you're not going to sign him to a long deal. He's probably going to be a few $1,000,000. You could trade him at the
Yeah.
deadline if you need to, but
Just to say, Matt Albertson is upset that we even mentioned David Robertson's name because he's a Phillies fan and
mm.
he's upset by it. I'm sorry, Matt. I apologize to you. The Phillies, they're not on this grid. Matt, drop your thoughts about the Phillies season in the chat. That's totally fine with us.
Yeah,
We started this combo Yankees Padres
I mean
because of the
Soto. Yeah,
Soto
I don't want to
connection.
use Soto, but
We don't have to use Soto. I mean, Kyle called out Tyler Wade. That's a good shout for sure.
that is a good shout out. Is Tyler Wade
I
still in the league? Is my only question.
mean, so he was last year. If
Okay,
we're going by like haven't announced their retirement, I'd say he fits. There's Kyle Higashioka.
you get right. I
Um,
was thinking of every other player in that trade. You had
yeah,
obviously Michael
basically.
King, Randy
Um,
Vasquez.
Randy Vasquez is a good one, as well as
Who was that fourth guy?
well, Michael King we talked about, right? You mentioned him.
King, Higashioka, Vasquez, and there was a fourth player, wasn't there?
Brito, right? Was
Johnny
Brito in
Brito.
that
Yeah,
trade?
I think that's right. Did he get into a
Yeah.
game for the Padres last year?
I think he did.
I think Vasquez did. I feel more confident that Vasquez did than Brito.
Okay, Tyler Wade's on the opening day roster. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for him.
Okay. Yeah, Brito. I think if Brito got into a game, he's maybe the rarest of them.
I think, yeah, I agree.
I think let's go Brito. Well, who said it earlier? No guts, no glory. Matt. I think this is the call. Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Brito, 0.5% hidden gem.
There we go. Nice. That
Love it.
Soto trade will feed grids for decades. Man, we don't have the Tigers on this grid, but I just do want to call out what Rally Cap said. The Tigers, they're really good. They are really good in a division that doesn't really, no offense, require you to be really good.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and Kyle's here, so I'll just call it out. I was watching a whole segment on how good Riley Green is and how underappreciated he is. I mean, he is. I mean, if someone fact check me, I'll just pull it up. Riley Green, I think, is 23, 24 years old.
He's not
Um,
older than that. I think if he's even that, he might still be
he
22. That's
Yeah,
probably
so
not right.
he is yeah, he's 23 years old, maybe turning 24 this year.
Yeah.
He had 5.4 WAR last year,
Wow.
and he had 24 home runs. I mean, he had a 262 batting average, a 348 on base percentage. He feels like if we're talking about players to reach some thresholds for the first time on the grid, I feel like there's no reason he can't hit 30 home runs, get 6 WAR.
Yeah.
I
Steal 30
mean,
bases. Is he
yeah.
is he
He's not really a steals guy. It's funny, they were talking
no?
about that because he's an athletic guy, but not a
Yeah.
he doesn't run.
That's
But like
interesting. He's
yeah,
not to cut you off, but wasn't he like a primarily a center fielder or a left fielder? Like, and I feel like there's most outfielders, especially people
yeah,
who have to control like patrol very large outfield spaces,
yeah,
typically has, but and then I guess Brandon Nimmo is another guy who falls into that. Like he stole like 15 bases last year, but that's still kind of in his career, he's not historically been the best base stealer.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that is strange. Like, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to know like why he's not a base stealer. He's had like he stole 4 bases last year, 7 the year before, so he's not a high base stealer, but
didn't I think Riley Green also had like a foot injury within the
he
past couple
did.
of years, so maybe that's
He
a
did.
factor
So
too.
that could be
And maybe it's just that
yeah.
the Tigers don't like to steal. I don't know. I don't know like the team uh, philosophy on stolen bases that they have
Yeah.
necessarily, but
I
like I can't
mean,
think of a lot of guys on the Tigers that are really
yeah.
base stealers.
Rally cap, I guess like you're probably a Tigers fan, so just like hit us in the chat. Like I think the thing is, can Riley hit 100 RBI? Like is that lineup good enough where he's going to reach 100 RBI threshold? Maybe. I really wanted them to bring Bregman in. That would have been really
Yeah,
good for the Tigers. I know they made him a really competitive offer, but I digress. It's not on this grid, but I am excited about the Tigers. They made it their young core got like a taste of the postseason last year,
yeah,
and I feel like that's hugely impactful. And as much as it pains me to say it as a Yankees fan, AJ Hinch is just he's a really good manager. Like
yeah.
he's really good.
I, I have the Tigers on my list of low key, like not over the top in terms of the moves they made, but they brought back Flaherty. They brought in Glaber Torres. They didn't
Yeah,
really lose anybody that I
yeah,
thought was that impactful
right.
either. So, like from a plus minus standpoint, I thought they did well to
Yeah,
bolster the rotation with Flaherty. Obviously, questions about his health, but
yeah,
um, they didn't
fair.
really lose much. So I don't see a reason why they wouldn't at least be as good as they were last year.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, do we want to go to another box here?
Yeah, I'm just staring at those 30 save seasons with
Yeah,
current players only and getting a little nervous about it, to be honest.
yeah.
Um, did your guy Mark Melanson, I wish he was a current player.
Mark
Like, I
Manson.
mean, doesn't he fit for
Well,
both of these? Or
that's a great question.
I mean,
As much
Mark,
as
I
I love
assume
Mark
you're
Manson, I
listening.
don't.
Like,
I like haven't pinpointed. I specialize at putting Mark Melanson on the team's boxes.
yeah.
I don't remember exactly where he got the most saves in his career.
I'm gonna look it up purely because we can use him on the grid on
Right, we're
this
not. Yeah,
grid.
that's fair. I don't think he did it
And
with Cisco though. Although it could
I'll
be
let
with
you know, he saved
Pittsburgh.
51 games for the Pirates
And
in
Pittsburgh for sure. I
2015.
I
Yeah.
knew that.
He did
Um,
39 saves for the Padres. Um, he
also,
did 30 multiple times with Pittsburgh.
so I think he just retired too. I think 2023 was the
Yeah,
last season he played. I don't know if he had officially retired last year. I think he, I think he might be done.
he's done, I think.
Yeah,
Shout out. I know you're watching, Mark. Thanks for you know,
obviously Mark Melanson is
I
watching
assume I
everything
assume
we
he's
do.
watched every one of our episodes since we're such big fans of him. Um, that's a joke, by the way.
No,
Uh, Giants 30 save. Yeah,
we
Kyle, I
can't
was
use
just gonna say
Jake
the same
McGee here
thing.
either.
Kyle kind of hit it on the head. I think Doval is the option. If we're going current players only, I'm trying to think who else would have realistically.
Yeah, I think we're pretty limited. I think it is Duvall, and I think it's going to be super high, so it's going to blow up. I mean, again, we're not going for rarity here.
Yeah.
I think it's. I'm trying to like rack my
I mean,
brain
just for
for
funsies, can you think of people who weren't current players? I mean, did Goose Gossage do it for the Giants? Like,
Jake McGee.
did Jake
Is the
McGee?
silly
Yeah.
one that
Yeah.
comes to mind. Um, and I know this because I had him on my fantasy team the year he did that, and then in our keeper league, I traded him as a keeper to somebody in the offseason because I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no way he's doing that again." He did not do it again.
I
Um,
always put Don McMahon for the Giants. He was a closer, but he never, again, it doesn't fit. He was been retired since the 1960s, but he also didn't hit 30. He's at like 10 most. He's just bumped around a lot of teams in the 60s. So I think Doval is the play here, even if it kills the rarity. If
yeah,
we're
it's
if we're
going to.
committed to doing current players, let's do Camilo Doval.
Yeah, let's do that. Camilo Deval. Hey, 11% is not nearly as high as
Okay,
I thought it
yeah.
was going to be.
Did he got demoted last year, didn't
He
he?
did.
Like, what's the status of him?
He's
I don't know if
back on the
anybody in the chat
roster.
knows. Okay, okay.
I think he's back on the roster because they traded Taylor Rogers. I know they had both Rogers
Yeah.
brothers. I think they traded Taylor to Cincinnati, and Doval's back. I think he came back before the end of last season after that AAA stint, but they did send him down to
It
kind of
was low
straighten
key
things
kind of
out.
shocking. I mean, I know that he was struggling, but the other one we talked about, I don't know if we talked about this, you and I, but Jason Foley got demoted today to AAA.
I saw that. I was a little surprised by that.
I was surprised by that. I know he struggled at the end of last year, but uh,
Long Island guy.
Long Island guy, and I
Mm.
know there's a Tigers fan in the chat, but like, it's not like they're super flush with bullpen options. Like, I know they've got some
No.
guys they're excited about, Brisky and Holton, but like, that was surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyle, you're probably right. He had a tough go, but again, I just at a certain level, you need arms, and I just like who else are. I mean, maybe I just don't know the Tigers' depth chart well enough to know,
Well,
but
they did that with, and we talked about when we had Greg Jewett from Closer Monkey on. Alex
yeah,
Lang they demoted last year after he was the
yeah,
closer in
they did.
2023. So,
Yeah,
and then he got hurt. He was out for the season, I think, last year. But before that, he demoted him, I think, before the season last year, or sometime in season last year.
yeah,
Um, so yeah,
yeah. Oh, I didn't realize Chafin was sent down too. Yeah, well, tough roster moves. All right. Where do you want to go next, Mike?
I kind of want to finish out the saves column here, and I'm nervous because I'm assuming that Josh Hader did it
Yeah.
last year. And if we're
Uh,
going with active players, the only other guy that I can think of
Presley.
that Presley
Presley.
might
Yeah.
have done it for them, and I feel like he probably did because
Yeah.
before they brought in Hader, he was their primary closer. I know that he was a little bit shaky at times, but I feel like because they had who was it? Roberto Ozuna was
Yeah.
their closer. I think maybe that first World Series run, and then he had the off-field legal stuff, and
Yeah.
he's out of the league now. And Presley has been a career Astro until he just got traded this offseason to the Cubs. So I think Presley is probably, if he did it, he's going to be the lower. I
Was
think,
was Stanek just like a setup man for them for Presley? Like he never really had the closer role for any extended
yeah, Stanek.
period, right?
I don't think Stanek was ever an extended, like a closer for an extended period of time.
Yeah,
No,
maybe like a few spot saves or
I'm thinking like Hector Neris.
yeah,
Was
Mac kind of called out, I think that Neris never had 30 actually.
No.
So
And if he did it, I don't think it would have been for the Astros. I think
yeah,
he might have done it for the Phillies a while back, which is so random. But
yeah.
I think Presley's the guy.
I mean, let's put Presley, but let's also call out here. Tip's right. Another grid we didn't use Tip O'Neill, so which is just like a real shame. And I'm sorry, Tip, to let you down. But thanks for coming to the stream. Ryan Presley, 21%.
21%. Okay.
Kills me.
Yeah,
But listen,
I
we're
have to assume
doing
Josh Hader was 30 something or
yeah, I'm thinking so. It's current players only. You can bash us in the Spotify comment section. Tell us
Please
what
don't.
ordinary
We're doing our best.
idiots we are. All right. Cardinals Astros. I mean, the Cardinals are interesting in this offseason of just like what does that team look like after the trade deadline? I just feel like they I mean, I'd be shocked if like Arenado's on the team, be
Yeah.
shocked if anybody of value is on that team.
I'll be honest. I have them as one of my losers of the offseason. They not
Yeah,
only did they I mean, we didn't think they were gonna add. They didn't trade Arenado.
I know.
Not that they have to, but, like, if they're not going for it, then I would think you have to try to rebuild, right? So,
Yeah.
Arenado is their best chip, I think, or
Yeah.
one of their best chips. I mean, Sonny Gray, I guess they could trade. I
Yeah.
just thought that they did nothing at
Yeah.
all. And it's not I don't think that I mean, the Cubs I guess the Cubs got better, right? Kyle Tucker is there now,
A good deal better, yeah.
but, like, so much better that the Cardinals would be that far out of it. I mean, I know they weren't I feel like I don't know if I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly, but I feel like I saw a stat, and I think it was last season where the Cardinals were not good in the standings, but I think they had the closest. Like there was some stat where like they lost the most one-run games.
Yeah.
Like they very easily could have had an above 500 record if they flipped 10 of those games.
Yeah.
Um,
It just feels like you've either gotta do the rebuild and move these guys, or you've gotta put the chips in a division again in the Central that is not, like, impossible to win. Like,
yeah,
I think the Cubs, like, feel like the favorites, but it's hard to ever count out the Brewers even with losing guys. Like, it's just like but again, it's like a couple chips in, then they're competitive perhaps. Like, but
yeah,
I mean, I do think they probably move Arenado at some point. I think
they
that
have to.
he like was weird about his no trade clause during the offseason. And
Yeah,
as the season goes on, I mean, I'm not a player, I'm not a front office person, I'm just a fan, but you assume that changes as he maybe decides he wants to play for a winning team, as offers come through, as teams get more dire. I mean, on that team, you have Sonny Gray is still a Cardinal, right?
yep,
So you feel like that's a movable piece if they decide to move off. There's some other options, right? The who's the Helsley?
yeah. The
Feels
health
like would
was a
be
good
of interest to a team who's
for
in the
sure.
thick of a playoff run at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Kyle's right, Hicks as well. They just feel like they've got a lot of pieces, and if they're gonna not compete, you have to see a lot of those move probably.
yeah. It does seem that people are in the chat are throwing Giants and Cardinals though, because and there was talk, right?
Yeah, which is good.
The
Yeah, yeah,
Giants were. Oh no, wait, the Giants weren't one of the Arenado teams because they have Matt Chapman.
they
Um,
do. Who had
but
7 WAR last year, which is surprising. But
wild. Yeah,
yeah, Brandon Crawford definitely works.
Crawford
And
in the chat. We
then
got John
John
Brebbia,
Brebbia.
and I think that's Kyle Hicks. Jordan Hicks is talking about fits that
Okay.
box
Yep.
too.
Yep. Yep. I got it.
Yeah,
Yep. Hicks is on the Giants now, right? So
yeah.
I like
I
the
like
Brebbia
Brebbia.
shout. Yeah, I do.
I think he's on the White Sox now, or was he was on the White Sox last
He
year?
did go on the White Sox as well. Yeah. I honestly don't remember him fully for some of these teams, but yeah, I'm good with Brebbia. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um,
1%.
nice.
Beautiful.
Good shout.
Uh,
Yeah, where do
Real
you want to
quick.
go, Mike? Yeah.
Well, just seeing the White Sox hat. I know he's on the
Oh
White Sox.
man.
I when I was speaking like my winners and losers of the offseason, I thought about putting the White Sox there, and then I thought why bother? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they traded
It's yeah.
Crochet, which is a massive loss. They probably don't have many more pieces to move.
Yeah.
At least not like a lot of high return pieces that I would think of. Like Andrew Vaughn, I don't think is going to get a
No.
haul. I don't think Benintendi is going to get you a ton.
No.
You might get something,
Yeah.
but like you're not going to get a Crochet return.
Yeah.
Um, Joey Gallo's a pitcher now, but they released him. So uh, yeah, I mean
I'm pulling up their depth chart right now, just and that's as much as we can do for them, I guess. I mean,
when
their
it's
number one starter is Sean Burke, I guess.
of course
Yeah. Wow.
I cannot name three guys in that rotation.
Yeah, I'll tell you them. Sean Burke, Davis Martin, Martin Perez, of course,
Random.
Shane Smith, Jonathan Cannon, who had a pretty intriguing year, I think.
I
Drew
heard,
Thorpe, who I think is getting Tommy John. Uh,
yep, that sounds familiar. That sounds about right.
uh, so I mean, it's a pretty miserable team. Apologies to anybody watching who's a White Sox fan. I mean, I guess Luis Robert, if he is healthy,
That's true.
will draw some interest.
Right. He's the one, I guess we'll call him the highest profile player probably
Yeah.
left on that team.
I mean,
Uh,
this is a stretch, but like Mike Talkman could put together a good first half and be intriguing to someone as like outfield depth.
he- when I was mapping out who the Cubs added and who they lost, Talkman got hurt in the middle of the year last year, but he was
He
actually
was
putting
pretty
up a
good.
quietly
Yeah,
good season last
he
year,
was. Yeah,
relatively speaking, but like respectable, like high on base percentage. He was
yeah,
productive when he
he
was.
was. That's why I
Um,
say, like, I mean, we're really pulling at straws here, but he could be moved for something. And then, man, I feel bad for Miguel Vargas
yeah,
to go from literally the Dodgers to this.
yeah, that's rough.
Really rough. Yeah, Matt, they're not far removed from being a pretty good team.
Yeah,
It's a really colossal fail. If David from 1988 Tops were here, we'd throw him on. He's a White Sox fan. I don't even know how that's possible, but it's miserable.
yeah. I
So
think
they're
that
not on this grid, LaRussa. Man, what a memory. Fell asleep on the bench. Yep. Yeah. And then the Yermin Mercedes whole thing with getting mad at him for swinging on a 3-0 pitch, and
yeah,
just the vibes were so bad.
so
I think
strange.
shortly after that, the report came out that the clubhouse was bad and the vibes were bad. It just what a bad organization.
Yeah, they're not trending in the
Oh,
right direction. It's,
I digress. They're not on the grid, but Giants Padres, they're on the grid.
they are. I was going to say, speaking of teams that I'm not sure what direction they're trending, we just talked about the Cardinals. Do you want to do Cardinals Astros? Because I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
can't figure the Astros out. Like I know they have a
Uh,
couple guys in their farm system that they like that they think are going to replace Kyle Tucker just fine, which more power to them if they believe that.
yeah,
Isaac Paredes, I know people are kind of in fantasy. He's like the there's people talking, oh, he could hit 30 home runs with the ballpark. Sure.
yeah,
They added Christian Walker.
yeah,
But they traded Kyle Tucker and they're
yeah.
playing Jose Altuve in left field. I I don't know what to make of
Have
that.
you Googled Cam Smith recently? I'll be honest.
I saw a video that he made the roster, right?
Yeah, and I've got
Yeah.
him in a fantasy league. And I'm not a prospect guy. So most people in the chat, if you're a prospect guy, you'll know more than me. What I want to say though is if you Google Cam Smith, or at least yesterday, one of the top articles that came up was like a New York Times athletic article where someone was quoted as he might be the next 60 home run guy.
That's
And
good.
if so, incredible. I just hate when people put these expectations on young players like that
Yeah.
because that's a lot. I think he's 22. He's
Yeah,
22
you
years
know.
old. I'd be shocked. I mean, yeah, maybe he will be the next 60 home run guy.
I
Yeah, he
mean,
is. He is on the opening day roster, and he is. Jim Crane said I think he's starting right field was the thing. I like what is the direction of the Astros? I just have come to expect they'll probably make the playoffs. They always
Yeah,
find a way.
yeah. That's I
They
kinda
I mean,
feel that way
Framber
too.
Valdez is still really good.
Yeah.
Isaac Paredes is probably gonna be good for them. Cam Smith, he's not gonna hit 60 home runs, I know, but everyone's really excited about him. So, Altuve is still very productive. Like, I feel like they're still a good team. I think the Rangers had a bad year last year, but still look like a really good team in that division.
Yeah, they I had them kinda neutral because they traded Nate
Yeah,
Lowe, and then
fair, yeah,
they added Jake Berger, which could
yeah,
be I mean, Berger had a good he was good when he got traded to the Marlins at first. Last year, he wasn't very good. He was high power guy, low average guy,
yeah,
probably high strikeout, so, like, I don't if he might play well there, it's possible. I thought that the
yeah.
Rangers kinda neutralized their with their, eh, pluses and minuses in the offseason.
They'll also get Josh Young back, I think. I think he's fully healthy. Um,
I just saw a notification before we hopped on about him. I
oh
think he might
boy.
be okay, but I didn't read the notification fully, so
So let me
I
ask you a
want to
question.
yeah.
A player that's near and dear to your heart, maybe. Jacob DeGrom is back for the Rangers. If I put the over under games started at, let's say, 14 and a half, does he over under?
Man, that is a tough one. I love Jacob DeGrom.
I don't want anyone to get hurt. So like I want
No,
the
and
over because
obviously,
it's
right.
good for baseball for Jacob DeGrom to pitch. But
Yes.
it's I don't know.
I ugh, I hope he pitches more than that. I
Yeah.
would probably take and this is why I don't this is one of many reasons I don't bet or do
Yeah, me
anything
too.
like this,
Yeah.
but, he's just had too many consecutive years
Yeah.
with too many major injuries for me to feel confident enough to say he's gonna pitch effectively about half the season. I hope he
Yeah.
does. I really
Yeah.
do. I think it's probably gonna be under.
Yeah.
So,
And
and
that's
yeah,
like that's an X factor. Like if for
yeah,
some reason he's super healthy, which I wish only that for him.
yeah,
Uh yeah, I don't know. I don't count the Rangers out. I think it's another division that's like fairly up for grabs. And it's hard to count the
yeah,
Astros out. It's hard to count the Rangers out. I think the Mariners had a disappointing
yeah.
offseason when they were
Very disappointing. The guys from,
yeah.
Daily Walk Off
Yeah.
are not happy about
Yes.
that.
Yeah. And I think the
Uh,
Justin Turner quote was around like, they were one game away from the playoffs and they added like no bats. I mean, obviously Turner's moved on to the Cubs, but he was talking about sort of the frustration there.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't get why they didn't add. Anyway,
I the
yeah.
biggest addition that I have that of a guy that was not on the roster, so we're not counting anybody they brought back, I have as Rowdy Tellez,
Oh man. Yeah.
and they just released Mitch Haniger. So
Yeah.
and
The
George
Mariners,
Kirby.
yeah. And so what happens with them? I mean, not to get us off track.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Baseball, we're on track.
Yeah.
But what happens with them if they're just as bad as we think they might be with their lineup and they're just stockpile with these pitching? Like, do the Mets go get Luis Castillo? Like, what of those pitchers are up for grabs? Like,
I would
uh,
love to get Castillo.
yeah,
I I would not be disappointed at all if the Mets got Brian Wu.
yeah,
I would love George Kirby. Actually, I think I'm going to give credit to Kyle here. Kyle was on George Kirby before I knew who he was. I think he offered
before
him to be
George
in,
Kirby was on George Kirby.
yeah.
Like,
No, like he was in like double A few years
oh
ago.
wow.
And in fantasy, he had picked him up and stored him on his bench, and he offered him to me in a trade. And I was like, "Who is this guy?" He's like, "He's going to be good." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then the next season, I started like reading more about him as he was, ascending AAA or whatever. And I was like, I think that was right. George
yeah,
Kirby's pretty good.
yeah. He's
Um,
really, really good.
yeah,
I just think it's disappointing the Mariners didn't do they have maybe one of the best rotation or could have one of the best rotations.
yeah.
Um,
It feels. it feels like what's going to happen. It's and this it hurts me to say this. The 2015 Mets, when you had Harvey, DeGrom,
Yeah.
Syndergaard, Matz, and Wheeler, and they had that rotation had the potential to be dominant for a decade. And in different ways, I think it's going to be disappointing. But I would say, like, in terms of disappointment, they have the rotation that I would say is probably above the level of the 2015 Mets. There's more, like Castillo's more established than anybody.
Bryce Miller. We didn't even mention Bryce Miller.
Bryce
Who's
Miller,
just like
Logan Gilbert.
filthy.
I mean, that whole
Logan
rotation
Gilbert.
is
Yeah, I mean, it's
insane.
just it's an insane rotation.
I think it would be such a massive waste of that rotation if they can't find a way to put a lineup around it. I did just sign Kyle Raleigh to an extension. I don't know.
Pretty big one, I think. Yeah.
6 years, 105, I think. Which good for him.
I just don't get, and again, I'm not a player, I'm not a front office guy. I'm just literally a fan, but I don't get when you have like a young core that you contractually can pay a little bit of money to. That is the time to go buy a free agent. That is the time to go bring in the biggest like contract ever. Like, because I mean, it's the same thing they were saying about the Pirates with Paul Skeens. Like, how long are you going to have the best player on your team making sub $1 million?
Right.
Like, I just don't get it. The Mariners have probably one of the best rotations in baseball, and I don't know this for sure, but I would love someone to run like a by WAR. They have to be one of the cheapest rotations ever.
Yeah.
And like, why not go bring one or two bats in? Like,
I feel like the Mariners, the offseason that the Yankees had, outside of losing Juan Soto, the types of moves the Yankees made are the types of moves the Mariners should have made, right? They need a first baseman.
Yeah.
They could have traded for Bellinger. They they don't need to have signed a Max Fried, but like, well, I don't know. I'm sorry. They could have added Goldschmidt to play first base. They could have played Bellinger in the outfield and right field. Mitch Haniger just got released, right? So the guys that the Yankees added, and Devin Williams, they have Munoz in the bullpen, but
who's had his like share of injury concerns over the past year. And like, I just think they could have got like Santander even. They could have got, and I know it's like not an appealing place for a hitter to go play. I get that too. But like, I mean, Gleyber Torres would have been an improvement on that lineup in the infield. I mean, I just...
So there is a world in which Yankee fans will admit that Gleyber Torres is an upgrade.
I am sad to see Gleyber Torres go. I think the Tigers were super smart. I think defensively, they are going to have one of the worst infields in baseball because he's a horrible defender. But hitting aside, like hitting alone at a position that is sparsely populated with good hitters, I think Gleyber has the potential to go and hit super well and get a better contract next year. I get to an extent why they didn't re-sign him. If they're committed to Jazz playing second, which I don't hate, but we don't have a third baseman. Like, no offense to Oswaldo Cabrera, but like,
you don't have it.
I like Gleyber. I mean, I can rag on him. I'm sure you can pull the receipts of me ragging on him before, but I thought it was like a done deal. He would go to the Mariners. It just made too much sense. Like,
the irony of what you said about the Tigers infield defense is that I just read that they're playing Javi Baez in the outfield now.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Has to be the best defender we've seen up the middle in recent years.
Yeah.
So there's that.
We've been chatting. Someone called out, I'm thinking about it. Someone called out Wandy Peralta for Giants Padres. And I just want to not lose it. It's a really good shout.
It is a good shout.
Works for Yankees Padres too. Another guy I was sad that the Yankees let go. But I don't mind throwing him in there, current players.
Let's go back to the grid.
Why not?
You're idle for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
0.5% hidden gem. Beautiful call on Wandy Peralta. And
Yeah,
I'm
whoever
not gonna
said
lie, I
that,
have in the back of my head been thinking about getting back to the grid, and the reason I haven't said anything is because I am totally blanking on a current player that played for both the Astros
oh,
and the Cardinals.
jeez. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm just gonna use the excuse and throw it to the chat.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put up a little banner: Cardinals, Astros, current players only.
yeah,
Throw your answers in the chat while we think. Because I want to say like Beltran or Berkman, right? Berkman played for the Cardinals, neither of which matter because
yeah,
they're not current.
right. I'm trying to think, like, was there like one of the backup catchers? Did they like a Martin Maldonado? But I don't think he played for the Cardinals. Um,
Oh man, I can't think of Marwin Gonzalez. Did he ever play for the Cardinals? No, right?
I don't think so. I think he played for the Twins. He played
Astros, Red Sox,
and
Twins,
Yankees.
Yankees.
Yeah.
Victor Caratini, that's pretty good.
Did Caratini play
Did
for
he
the?
play for the
He
Cardinals?
played for the Cubs. He played for the Brewers. He played for the Padres. Actually, oh, I don't know if he played for the Astros. Yeah, I. It's possible that there's not a current player. We did a terrible job of picking this grid for the criteria we were going for. I
I
don't know. There may
mean,
not be a current player. There's got to be
there
a
has to be.
somebody.
Where is Jessica still watching? Like she would know. Uh
Mauricio
Dubon.
Dubon did cross my mind. I want to say he's only been Giants and Astros though. Oh,
Oh man.
what
Well,
have
I mean,
we
we can come back to it, but I'm gonna be honest. You could give me like a couple days. I might not think of anybody.
did?
Um,
I think there has to be one player, at least one player still in the league who's played for both teams. Maybe not somebody who's currently on the Cardinals
uh,
or the Astros.
Tommy Pham never played for the Astros, right? Or
No.
Matt, are you telling us there's one player as in you looked it up and there is one player? Because Matt said in the chat there is one player.
Well,
And if that's the case, I'm about to like
well,
flip
now we
this
need to know
table.
who it
All right.
is.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So there is one current player. Matt, just tell us who it is. It's fine if
Yeah,
you looked it up. It's
we'll give
okay.
you the MVP award for this grid because this
It's
is.
fine that you looked it up if you did. Who is the one player? Because there's no way I'm getting it.
I'm trying. I'm trying to think of what position it might
It's got to
be.
be like a pitcher, right? It's got to be like a reliever. Oh,
Oh
Jason
wow! You
Hayward.
know what? I just saw as I was looking up the transactions. I saw that Hayward is one of the players that the Astros lost in the offseason, and I totally forgot that he played for the Astros last year. Well, I guess we're putting Jason Hayward
Wow.
with a little bit of an asterisk because, well, I'm not saying an asterisk. It's quite possible that Matt knew this without looking it up.
We did not.
Okay.
I'm
Jason
looking it
Hayward.
up. The only other player I can think about, like I'm looking at the list now that we finished this box for Cardinals, Astros, Aledmus Diaz.
Yeah, Matt just called him out in the chat too. That's right. Yeah, Diaz started with the Cardinals. He
And that's
played.
it. That's
Yeah,
literally it.
yeah. Okay. Well,
Wow.
I guess we were right to not have anybody.
Holy moly. Yeah, the last pitcher to pitch for both of them was in 2017, Luke Gregerson.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And it's Aledmus Diaz, Jason Hayward, and yeah, wow.
Yeah, if we had gone non-current, I think Daryl Kyle pitched for both.
Dexter Fowler.
Dexter Fowler, right? Okay.
Okay. Wow.
I want to say that this is going to get better in the final box here, but I mean,
I mean, Josh Hader, who might be weirdly low because he wasn't used
Oh, that's right.
because he might have been used fairly high for 30 save
That
season.
is a good point.
I mean, he's still
Actually,
going to be double digit ish.
yeah.
Astros, Padres.
Yeah, no, Hater does. I forgot about his time with the Padres.
Yeah,
Which I mean, he was because he blew up. He blew up badly shortly after he got traded. Right, like he had a week or two that was
he
just
did. Yeah.
off the charts bad. I think he rebounded in September of that year, but I remember. Now I
His
remember.
end with the Padres too was weird because he talked about how he wouldn't pitch more than 1 inning and he didn't want to pitch more than 2 days, and
You know,
because he was basically knew he was gonna, like, be on a contract year.
I've got one. I've got one.
Okay.
So he's active. He's going to be out for the year with Tommy John, but he's on the roster. Active player Joe Musgrove
Oh,
works
yep,
here. I think he started his career
he
in
does. Yeah.
Houston, and I think he was in the Garrett Cole trade, which kind of wraps this up nicely
Yeah.
because we got the Yankee connection. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
um, yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
Joe Musgrove works here for sure.
Yeah.
And we could riff for another minute or two here on who else, but I think Musgrove is
I
probably
think Hader will still be a decent share of this box, so I think Musgrove will be quite a bit lower. I definitely like it. I'm good
yeah.
with it for sure.
Yeah. You want to do Musgrove?
Let's do Joe Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove to close out the grid. 7%.
Okay. Current
48.
players only. I will take it.
Jacob DeGrom's number. Well, it was, I don't know what number he is with Texas, but that was his number with the Mets. 48. We got one,
It's not
two,
bad.
3 hidden gems and filled out a grid with all current players. And we are, what time is it? About 10 p.m. Eastern. We are
Less than
18
24
hours.
hours. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
18 hours from the start of the regular season, and I'm super excited.
I'm ready. Yeah. I wanna ask one more question of you, baseball related.
Yeah.
I wanna plug the Discord. I mean, I recognize a bunch of people in the chat and know you're in the Discord, but if you're just like if you're lurking and you're not in the Discord or for some reason, I don't know, I didn't see you in the chat. We play Grid almost every night together. We usually don't I don't think we've ever done current players only. Probably everyone would quit the Discord if we did it.
It's a very Dead
Um
Ball era heavy group.
it's yeah. But I mean, I have learned so many players from the Discord. I've met a lot of good friends. And so I would say, like, if you love baseball, just come hang with us there. I'll drop the link one more time. It's a super great place to hang. I want to close it out with one question, and we've said it a couple times inadvertently because of off season and how we think teams did. What is Mike, your one team you think will, like, there's obviously, like, we expect the Dodgers to make the playoffs. To an extent, I think it's reasonable to expect the Mets can make it back. But what's your, like, one team, either AL or NL, that you think will surprise people this year, good or bad?
Oh, that's a great question. Now, when you say surprise, do you mean like make the playoff surprise or just be like
Well,
markedly better than anybody expects?
I think you could take it however you want. I mean, it could be people are expecting them to make the playoffs. You don't think they will. They you think they will beat expectations, whatever that means. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good. Okay. So I can't write off the Braves as being disappointing.
Yeah.
I do think they had a relatively lackluster offseason. They really only added Profar. They lost Freed. I know they have a couple guys that they like, young guys, Smith Sharver and I'm not sure Smith, AJ Smith Sharver
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Spencer Schwellenbach.
Schwellenbach too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I, I can't. I'm not going to tell you that they're not going to be good because the Braves have been very successful, and Acuna's back or will be back
Yeah.
presumably. Um, I think, I think, and this it hurts me to say this because I know, and we've had the guys from Two Strike Noise
Yeah.
were big A's fans,
Oh
and
yeah. They
and
worry
the
about
reason it hurts me to
Lopez.
say this
Yeah.
is not because I think I think the A's are going to be. I don't know that they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they will win. I think they will be above 500, and
Yeah.
I think they will. I think they're on the verge of, or could be. Okay, I don't know if ownership is going to spend enough to put them over the top and make them a legit playoff contender. But I do think that they have a very interesting team, and I do think that they're going to be a pleasant surprise this year. I think they're going to be more competitive than they've been, which is just a bummer for Oakland,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fans in Oakland, because I know that that fan base is very passionate. I went there last summer for the first and only time I went to the Coliseum. It was an A's Giants game, which was a great experience. Like, I could have gone when there were 12 people in the stands. The place
Yeah.
was packed, and it was just great. So I do feel really badly for the two strike noise guys and everybody in Oakland. But I think the A's are going to be an interesting team. I think the Nationals. I don't think the Nationals are going to make the playoffs, especially in the NL East. But I do think the Nationals are going to improve. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think those would be my two, like, I think those would be two of my, like, on the rise teams,
Yeah.
I would say, to look for this year.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you thinking? Who do you think is gonna give
Yeah.
me your predictions, and then give me who do you think we're gonna see, like, win a major award, like a surprise, like a
Oh,
dark horse guy in your mind for, like, either a Cy Young, MVP, one of, like, the major awards.
that's a great question. I do agree with you with the A's. I think they're going to hover around 500. I think they
Mhm.
could play above 500. I think they sort of did a lighter version of what the Royals did like 2 off seasons ago, where they just made some moves in a division. Well, I mean, they're in a really good division, I guess, the A's, but it just feel like they made some moves. I don't know that I don't predict them to make the playoffs at all. And I'm with you. I just like it's almost like hard to talk about them being good because it's so frustrating what they did to Oakland, so frustrating
Yeah.
that they decided to actually spend, like, some money the
Yeah.
year they left Oakland and
Yeah.
deserted that fan base. It's just, like, a bummer.
This just feels like a slap to the face to the
It's a
fans,
total slap to the face to a city that's also lost, like, multiple professional teams at this point in the NFL, the NBA,
all
and
of
now
them.
the A's. Like, it's just awful. Kyle, I don't even think it's a hot take that the Yankees are going to miss the playoffs. Like, I mean, I think that
How is
I
it
won't
safe to
even
stir the
address
pot?
it. I mean, I'm sure I think the Yankees will make the playoffs. I don't think they win the AL East. So I guess I'll say two things. They're both AL East based. I think the Red Sox will win the AL East. I don't even know if that's a hot take anymore. I think they are a fundamentally better team than the Yankees. They
Mhm.
have the farm system to replenish their team internally. I think the Blue Jays and Orioles got worse. And I think it's a division that is like yeah, I think the Yankees will be good. The Yankees are going to play above 500 ball. And I know I'm a jaded Yankees fan, but the Red Sox they're a solid team. They're a
Yeah,
really good lineup. They're
yeah,
I mean, I just think yeah, I think that's one. I don't know if that's a surprise. I think the Blue Jays are going to be uh, really bad. And I hate
yeah,
to say that. I don't wanna end on a negative note, but you're talking about a team that won, what, 74 games last year and
yeah,
didn't do much to improve. They brought in Max Scherzer, who's hurt again. They
yep,
brought in Santander, who can he replicate what was a really good year last year? Hard to say. So I'm not sure what happens to the Blue Jays if they're significantly out of the hunt at the trade deadline.
yeah.
That's I think something to watch.
Vlad, I'm so fascinated by what they might do with Vlad,
Yeah.
especially with the
Yeah.
contract. Like, he's a Boris client, right? So I don't think he's signing an extension until I don't think he's signing an extension. I think he's going to free
Yeah.
agency. So
Yeah.
do the Blue Jays, do they trade him? Do they trade him to the Dodgers to play
Yeah.
third base when Max Muncy gets hurt again? You know
Wow.
what I mean? Like, I mean,
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, it's possible. I get you asked me about awards. I
yeah,
don't know. I'll say this, and it's a callback to something I said earlier. I don't think Riley Green is going to win the MVP, but I think Riley Green will get top 5 MVP votes this year. I
Okay.
think the Tigers will come close to winning their division, if not win their division. I think he'll have a career year and will go over 6 WAR, and I think he will get some top 5 votes for MVP, and I think he'll establish himself as a breakout candidate. I do not think he wins the MVP. I think it's too stacked. I think Bobby Witt could easily win the MVP this year over Judge, but
Yeah.
I think Riley Green will be a really breakout player this year if he can put together a full healthy season. I guess that's an award-ish prediction. What about you?
Uh, I kind of similar as you're saying. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think Michael King
Yeah.
has a shot to be in the running for Cy Young,
Yeah.
which he's had one season as a full time starter, so it could go one of two ways. I
Yeah, like,
think
how does he bounce back from those innings?
right, but he struck out 200 guys last year. We talked about this in our 2024
Yeah,
stats episode. Like he was one of 11 guys who struck out 200 guys last season, which is wild, being a career relief pitcher to putting up those numbers. I think he has a. I think he'll get Cy Young votes. If I
yeah,
had a dark horse, I, that might be as close as I'm going to get to like
yeah.
an award prediction. I didn't really think about the question before I asked it. It just kind of
That's
popped into my
fair.
head. But
Drop
yeah,
in the chat if you've got like a really out of the box someone you think is going to win MVP or Cy Young this year. Jessica, I know you have someone probably wild that we're not thinking about, but um, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I mean, we don't always like actually talk current baseball because we're trying to remember guys who died years ago to put them on the grid. But it's fun to remember that baseball is back and we're fans of the game right now too. So if you hung with us this whole time, thank you. Something a little different. We went on really long,
I
but
know it
this has
went
been really
long.
fun.
Yeah, no, I know this went long, but I could probably do this for another hour. Like
Yeah.
I could sit
Yeah.
here and oh man, I knew I was excited, but just talking about all this stuff, talking about
Oh yeah.
there was way less Yankees and Mets talk than I thought we would have had too. I'm
Yeah.
I'm legitimately excited for all of this to
I'm
start.
ready. Yeah. All right. Well, follow us on we're Ordinary F on Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you for some reason don't subscribe to us already, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube where it really helps us. Turn on notifications. When we go live, you'll get notified. When we post a video, you'll get notified. Mike, what did I miss?
I mean, you said it before, but we'll just reiterate, and we should have said this at the top. But like, please join the disc if you enjoy doing grid and playing with a group of people and learning about players that died 120 years ago and were incredible players in the 1800s. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun.
It is, yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
but
Baseball's back.
thanks for being here. Stay ordinary and let's go. Let's baseball back tomorrow.
Let's go baseball. Yeah. All right.